Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Wynna Wong. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. A 27-month-old boy remains in critical condition after contracting COVID. A short circuit has been blamed for a church fire in Egypt, which left at least 40 people dead. And China's central bank cuts its lending rate in response to sluggish economic data. A 2-year-old boy is now fighting for his life in hospital after contracting coronavirus. He's the second young child to come down with respiratory infection this week after being diagnosed with COVID. Maisie Mock reports.
A 27-month-old toddler is the city's latest COVID patient to require intensive care. The boy, who was not inoculated, experienced fever and cold symptoms last Friday. He was rushed to hospital this morning after having difficulty breathing. The boy was diagnosed with COVID and croup, a viral infection of the airway. He is now intubated and remains in the intensive care unit at Princess Margaret Hospital. This marked the second time in a week that a young child with COVID became critically ill. The other is a 5-year-old girl who was also diagnosed with croup and remains in Tuen Mun Hospital. Hospital Authority Chief Manager Lau Ka-hin said parents should go to the doctor if their children have difficulty breathing or speak with a high-pitched voice. Lau also revealed that pediatric isolation wards are running out of beds, with some hospitals looking for ways to add spaces. Overall, 1,783 COVID patients are hospitalized, 230 of which are new admissions. The hospital authority said it is ready to take in up to 5,000 COVID patients. Hong Kong reported 4,896 COVID cases today, including 197 imported ones. There were also 4 COVID-related deaths. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Health authorities have long stressed the importance of wearing a face mask to keep COVID at bay. But the Consumer Council has found that some coverings have failed bacterial tests even before they are slapped onto people's faces. Janice Lowe reports.
With face masks becoming an essential item, consumers are increasingly conscious on picking designs which match their daily outfit. Sometimes that takes the focus away from the functionality, leading to potential risks. To find out, the Consumer Council tested 30 types of masks. 28 were produced in Hong Kong and 2 on the mainland. All but 1 sample performed well in screening bacteria, matching the BFE, bacterial filtration efficiency, claimed on the package labels. But the same cannot be said for particle filtration efficiency, or PFE. More than 6 in 10 samples had failed to perform to their purported standards. The worst performer was a purple mask from Mask Factory, which had a PFE of 95%, far lower than its claim of at least 99%. Another 6 samples also exceeded the European safety limit for microbial contamination. This box of disposable face masks from Casetify had a bioburden level of nearly 220 colony-forming units per gram, more than 6 times the limit. Ironically, at $5.30 per mask, it was also one of the priciest. In response, Casetify suspected the masks obtained by the council were contaminated during transport and handling. The company insisted its products have passed bacterial tests at government-recognized laboratories. The watchdog reminded consumers, especially immunocompromised individuals, to choose carefully.
If they have the existence of the bacterial count, that means it's not hygienic and it's not safe, and they will affect our skin and may cause skin problems.
The findings have been forwarded to authorities for follow-up action. Customs said safety tests for 5 masks are still underway and vowed to prosecute if the goods violate relevant laws. Janice Lowe, HKIBC.
The civil service chief rejected allegations that she is clamping down on dissent after 2 people were arrested for running a webpage which allowed civil servants to vent their anger.
In fact, I do have regular meetings with staff unions from time to time, and I receive a lot of criticism about government policies, human resources management policies, etc. So, and also government departments and bureaus also have their own departmental liaison channels with civil servants. Even on private social media platforms, as long as the information is not confidential and as long as it's the normal sort of criticism of government policy, it's no problem for civil servants to express them.
Young's comments came after 2 men were accused of publishing seditious content through a Facebook page, which allowed civil servants to rant about their work. It created a chilling effect, with similar pages for other organizations and schools closing down. Less than 2 weeks after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's controversial visit to Taiwan, another congressional delegation landed on the island today. China has responded with more military drills in the vicinity.
Taiwan has welcomed another group of high-profile Americans. A 5-member delegation of bipartisan lawmakers made a surprise landing on the island today. Led by Democratic Senator Ed Markey, they visited Taiwan's parliament and met with their counterparts on the island. Their visit at this time is of great significance, said Lo Chi-chang, chair of the legislature's Foreign and National Defense Committee. Their visit also proves that China cannot stop politicians from any country to visit Taiwan. They were also greeted by Tsai Ing-wen, who held a meeting with them before a banquet at the Foreign Ministry. Amid already simmering tensions with China after Nancy Pelosi's visit, Beijing reacted with renewed fury. Speaking at a daily press conference, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin accused the handful of U.S. politicians of colluding with separatists to challenge the One China principle. The People's Liberation Army has already announced a fresh batch of military drills, which it made clear was a solemn deterrent against the U.S. and Taiwan for continuing to play political tricks.
Overseas now, a fire at a Coptic church in Egypt has killed over 40 people, including children. Many of the casualties were from a stampede when people tried to scramble to safety.
Toppled over chairs and blackened walls. This is the aftermath of a fire in Egypt's capital, Cairo, that killed at least 41 people. The flames broke out on a Sunday morning while the Coptic Orthodox Church was packed with worshippers attending service. Authorities say around a dozen children were among the dead. I saw them bringing dead people from the upper floor, said this eyewitness. He said many, including youngsters, seemed to have died from suffocation. The situation was so chaotic, they couldn't tell whose son or daughter was being brought down. The Martyr Abu Safine Church is located in the working-class neighborhood of Imbaba. Authorities believe the blaze started from a short-circuiting air conditioner. Survivors recalled chaotic scenes as the fire blocked one of the exits, causing a stampede while people tried to escape to safety. Memorial services have already begun for some of those who lost their lives. Thousands gathered at churches once again to mourn victims. Those who luckily survived were visited by local officials, including Health Minister Khaled Abdel Ghaffar. This is one of Egypt's deadliest fires in recent years and is especially devastating to the Christian community, which has long complained of discrimination within the Muslim-dominated country.
China's central bank unexpectedly slashed its lending rates for the second time this year in response to sluggish economic data. Chloe Feng reports.
Nothing seems to be looking right for China's economy. Latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics show that retail sales expanded by 2.7% year-on-year last month, compared to 3.1% in June.
It missed estimates of a 4.9% growth as local demand remained unstable amid regional COVID flare-ups. Industrial production grew by 3.8% in July, slowing down from the previous months as overseas demand dropped due to high inflation. Fixed asset investment picked up by 5.7% in the first 7 months of the year, also down from the 6.1% growth for the first half of 2022. Unemployment slightly eased to 5.4%, but 1 in 5 people between 16 and 24 are now out of a job, representing a record high.
We still need to be aware that stagflation risks of the world economy are increasing and the foundation of domestic recovery needs to be further consolidated.
In a surprise move, the central bank cut its key lending rates for the first time since January. The People's Bank of China lowered the rate on its one-year policy loans by 10 basis points to 2.75%. An extra 400 billion yuan will also be injected in the market to shore up the fragile economy, which many predict will miss its official growth target of 5.5% this year. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
The local stock market edged down as investors took flight following worse-than-expected Chinese economic data. The Hang Seng Index lost 0.7%. The benchmark was dragged down by shipping-related stocks, with Orient Overseas losing a whopping 15%. Chipmaker SMIC also lost over 6%, following media reports that its supply exceeded demand. But hotpot chain Haidilao outperformed the market by surging nearly 8%. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 134 points. Top 10 active stocks, Tencent was down $3.80, Meituan up $1.80. China Mobile down 10 cents, Li Ning up $1.20. Over to foreign exchange rates, the euro is at 7.98, British pound at 9.46. In foreign markets, the UK FTSE is down 30 points. A look at the weather now, turning cloudy tomorrow with rain becoming frequent later in the day. Temperatures will range between 27 and 31 degrees. Be prepared for a gloomy week ahead. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. And that's our main news for Monday night. Join us for more at 11. I'm Wynna Wong. Thanks for watching. Good night.